Hi everyone, it's Emma, and as you can see, I do not have any makeup on whatsoever at the moment. That's because today I'm doing the makeup book tag. I got a lot of requests to do it recently, and I've also gotten requests to do like makeup tutorials and stuff. This seems a lot easier than doing a makeup tutorial. Basically what you do is there's a corresponding bookish question for each product of makeup that you use. You just answer the questions as you go and do your makeup. I don't do this makeup every day, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna go a little more fancy schmancy. A lot of days I just go like this and that's it, done. Just so you know, I don't do this every day. That would be so much work. I'm going to pull my hair back. This is the only headband that I have at the moment. I just washed my hair today, so it's like really soft and fluffy, so I kind of need to pull it back. The first question is primer. Pick a book that left a lasting impression on you. So the brand of primer that I use is by Vapour Organics. I got this sample a while ago and it's lasted me so long. I will absolutely be buying the full price run because this stuff is magical. Even on days when I don't really wear makeup, sometimes I'll still put this primer on. And I don't wear it every day because sometimes wearing primer makes it feel like you have a lot of stuff on your face. And my answer for this question is The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. Went into that book not expecting anything, and I came out and it was one of my favorite books of 2017. I still think about it all the time. After I finished that book, I ranted to my mom about it for like an hour straight because I had so much to say. I should have just filmed a full review. I really regret that I didn't because it's kind of hard to explain why I loved that book. Basically, it was because it's a YA book that handles a really serious, kind of not often addressed topic such as rape culture in such a good, respective, powerful way. It's so it was really good. Lots of trigger warnings, especially for sexual assault, violence, and stuff like that. So if you're sensitive, be aware. The next question is foundation. Favorite first book in a series. The foundation that I use, I kind of mix two together and sometimes I'll just use them separately. This one is All Naturale Cosmetics. I don't even remember what this is called. It's just like their foundation stick. And then I mix that with RMS Beauty's Uncover Up. I need a mirror for this part. So my favorite first book in a series, for this one, I said Name of the Wind. Name of the Wind is so good. It feels so developed that it's hard to even think of it as the first book in a series. Each book is so long, but the whole world is so full. My mom recently read the first book and she was telling me all the stuff that was happening as she was going, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot that this all happened in the first book. So much character development, so much plot stuff happens in the first book, and it's such a good introduction to the series. It's not even an introduction to the series, an incredible book, even just standing alone. It's actually rather hard to talk while you do your makeup. I never realized that. I think that's pretty good done for foundation. The next step is concealer. Pick a character that you would get rid of. Like if you could just leave a character out of a book completely, who would you get rid of? For the concealer, I'm using the same RMS Beauty Uncover Up and then this Tarte concealer, which is so old that the packaging has worn off, but I'll link it down below. I'll tell you guys all the products I used down below. I kept trying to think of a different character, but one character kept popping into my head, and it's probably a bit controversial because I think a lot of people really like this character. It's Noah Shaw from the Mara Dyer series. I like never mention the Mara Dyer series on my channel because I had such a hard time reading it. I never even finished the third book even though I was doing it for a read along. I had so many issues with the whole series, and Noah Shaw just encompassed all of the issues that I had in one human being. I just thought he was the epitome of the YA guy who's like, let me save you, let me fix you kind of thing, which is one of my least favorite tropes ever. But he was also just so confusing. Like, I didn't understand Noah Shaw as a character at all. It's not even that I didn't like him, I just didn't like what the author did with him. I thought it was one of those unhealthy relationships that wasn't really written to be unhealthy, it was just put out there. So I apologize if you really like Noah Shaw, it's just that I don't need him in my life. I also didn't read the new book that was like from his perspective, so I don't know, maybe he's changed a lot. You never know. I probably should have just picked like Dolores Umbridge and called it a day. Next is powder. Pick your favorite last book in a series. The obvious answer would be Harry Potter, because the last Harry Potter book is 100% my favorite of the whole series. I love the last book so much. Oh, I forgot to show you what powder I'm going to use. I'm using this RMS Beauty Unpowder. This is one of my favorite makeup brands. By the way, I'm going to use a lot of their products. So anyways, for the sake of not picking Harry Potter in a tag video, I'm going to say A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. That book is the perfect conclusion to a trilogy. Powder in the air. I could not have been more satisfied with that book as a last book in a series. I just loved it so much. I loved where all the characters went. I love how V.E. Schwab always has such a good balance between, like, I will break your heart, but I will let you be satisfied. Powder, powder, powder. Next is Eyebrows, a book that you think everyone should read. This is such a hard question because I never say I think everyone should read this book. Mostly because a lot of my favorite books have like difficult things or triggers or emotional topics that I'm just not gonna say everyone should read this book because everyone has their own level and stuff. So I had a really hard time coming up with an answer to this question. Also, I'm not very good with my eyebrows. I kind of am neglectful with them. It's like the one thing that I don't put a lot of work and effort into in my makeup routine. Since I dyed my hair, I've been using this Gudetama palette because there's a really like red matte color. So I've been using that for my eyebrows to kind of fill them in but without making them darker, and it helps match it to my hair. Anyways, the book that I decided on was The Inexplicable Logic of My Life by Benjamin Alire saenz. Again, I don't think necessarily everyone should read this book because there is a trigger warning for like death of a family member, and it's very sad in a way. It's just that it's also one of the most uplifting books I've ever read. Filled my life with so much joy and happiness, which is funny because the whole concept of the book is very sad. I feel like Benjamin Alire saenz is full of so much love, so he puts it out there for his characters and his readers. The way that the character was dealt with made me feel like I was being dealt with that way, like with lots of love and compassion. It also is like a classic coming of age story in the sense that he's like doubting himself and his personality and wondering if there's something wrong with him and all that stuff that everybody does when they're a teenager. I just loved it. I thought it was great. Next is Eyeshadow. Pick a book with your favorite colors on it. I don't think I really have a favorite color. Like my favorite color changes all the time. Like the colors that I'm drawn to changes all the time. But for the sake of the video, I'm gonna say it's red. And I picked all of these beautiful covers with beautiful writing and beautiful books, except I haven't read Wind Witch yet. So yeah. And for eyeshadow, I'm going to use this Gudetama palette. It is different than the one I used on my eyebrows. This one is in the color Red Velvet, and I don't know what this one is. It's chocolate something or other, but it's the holika Gudetama palette. I'm going to use this yellowy neutral color. A lot of times I just use my fingers for eyeshadow. I don't know why, I just like it that way. And then I'll use like a brush to blend it out. I think I'm gonna go really simple for my eyeshadow today because I'm gonna use a bright lipstick color, and I usually only do one or the other. I don't usually do a big eye and a big lip. Then I used this darker one just like on the outside part. I like to make my eyes look bigger. I'm gonna use the Living Luminizer, which is the highlighter that I will talk about in a second. This is the best stuff in the world. If you invest in one thing, I suggest the Living Luminizer by RMS Beauty. It makes you look like a fairy, which is my entire goal in life. I'm going to take this super sparkly eyeshadow by Alima Pure. This is a sample, I think, but the color is called Meringue. It's just really sparkly white eyeshadow. And I'll put that on top of the Living Luminizer stuff for some extra sparkles. Did I already answer the bookish question for this? I think I did. Pretty natural. Eyeliner. Pick a dark and mysterious book. I'm using this eyeliner by Weiss. This is just their brown eye pencil. I sometimes use liquid eyeliner, but recently I've been really liking using a pencil for some reason. I used to always use liquid eyeliner. The first one that came into my head was The Graces by Laure. That book I don't talk about enough, but I really enjoyed it when I read it. This girl, I think she moves to a small town, starts attending the high school, and she gets involved with this family that everybody says are witches, and they're super mysterious and you don't know what their whole deal is, but they kind of like take her under their wing and adopt her into their little cult family. By the end of the book, I still had no idea what was going on, and honestly it's not that well written. Like, I'm not gonna say it's one of my favorite books ever, but for some reason it has really stuck with me after reading it, and I still think about it all the time, and I'm super excited for the sequel. I think eyeliner is the only part that I really cannot do while talking to you guys. Once I have the general shape of my eyeliner, I go back in with eyeshadow. It just blends things and makes it look more seamless. I can't tell if you guys can even see what I'm doing to my makeup. And I just used the matte brown color in the same Gudetama palette, which I use all the time. And then I will blend. Blendy, blend. And one eye looks different from the other one. What else is new? The next question is mascara. Pick a long book. First, I'm gonna curl my eyelashes because I think that's also one of the most important steps in any makeup thingy-mabob. I usually use two mascara. One is the Hint Beauty mascara, and then the other one is the Eyeko Rock Out and Lash Out mascara. I like using two because they kind of do different things and I find it gives the best effect, but this Hint Beauty mascara is absolutely my all-time favorite organic mascara. Oh, so a long book. I'm gonna say Lord of Shadows. I think Cassandra Clare is the queen of long books that are still super good. And since I already said Name of the Wind, I have not read Lord of Shadows yet, but recently I've been getting in the mood. I've been missing those characters a lot and wanting to see what happened to them, what peril and heartache Cassandra Clare decided to put them through. And then a very important part of your makeup process is that when you're doing your mascara, you get a dot of mascara on your face. I do it every day. The next question is blush. Pick a book that had some cringe-worthy romance. If I can get this blush open because it's brand spanking new. The RMS Beauty Lip to Cheek. This is in the color Beloved. It is this super red color, which I think is gorgeous. The book that I decided on for a cringeworthy romance is the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. I'm not talking about the romance in the first book because obviously that romance is cringy. I hated that romance. I'm talking about the romance in the latter books because it is one of my favorite romances. I love that OTP. I love all their moments together, but it's also pretty cringy. I remember there were some moments that I was like, wow guys, chill a little bit. They're super intense and stuff, like all these scenes that I feel like wouldn't happen in real life, but I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to get more cringeworthy romance moments with that ship that I won't say because it's kind of a spoiler. This blush is a lot brighter than I thought it would be. I like to do my blush near the center of my face because I like it to look like I just went outside and it's really cold outside. Or like you're drunk. That's a good look too. Another makeup trick is that after you do your blush, you can go back and blend the edges with your foundation brush because it'll still have like some excess stuff from when you did your foundation and it'll help it like blend seamlessly and all that. Now we've gotten to one of my favorite parts, which is highlighter. For this, I'm also using an RMS product. I already used it earlier. It's the Living Luminizer. You can tell that I use this all the time because there's a big hole in the middle. The corresponding question for this one is pick a book that brightened your day. I'm gonna go with a graphic novel. It's called Quiet Girl in a Noisy World. It's a graphic novel about an introvert girl. At the end, she tells like her personality type and everything, and she's the exact same personality type as me. She's an INFJ, HSP, so an INFJ and then a highly sensitive person, which is me to a T. So the whole graphic novel is this introvert girl trying to exist in a world of extroverts, find her peace and quiet, and trying to come to terms with the fact that she is living in a culture that for the most part values extroverts, coming to value herself in how she was made. It brightened my day because it made me feel like so understood. In some ways, not so much. There were a couple things that I didn't relate to. It's just because I am an introvert, but I like to push myself really far. But for the most part, it brightened my day because who doesn't want to feel understood? And the last question is lipstick. Pick your favorite book kiss. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. For my lipstick, I'm using this new one, which is also by RMS. I got a lot of RMS products recently. This is just called RMS Red, and it's this like super orangey red. Oh look, you can see the swatches on my hand. My favorite book kiss, honestly, my favorite book kiss, it's not a kiss. It's a moment in Crooked Kingdom, and if you've read Crooked Kingdom, you probably know what I mean. I don't feel like I've read any book kisses recently. This is probably not a good part to talk through. Look how pigmented that is. I'm not a fan of liquid lipsticks because I have kind of small lips, and that makes putting on liquid lipstick like super hard. I can think of a bunch that I read a while ago. The Infernal Devices. I was not a Wessa shipper, I was a Jessa shipper. So like I loved all of their kisses. Like Eleanor and Park, there was a really cute book kiss in that one. I think there was a really good one in Hollow City, but none of the books that I've read recently have had book kisses in them, so. Oh, I know I said this as a cringy romance, but the kiss in Ignite Me, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think that's it. I think I'm done with my makeup too. I hope you enjoyed this little tag. I hope it was fun to watch me do my makeup. Oh, I should probably take this out now. Nope, maybe I should leave it in. That's gonna stay in until I can fix my hair off camera. Anyways, it was kind of fun doing my makeup while I talked to you guys, although it is kind of hard to focus on what I'm saying. Like, hopefully this made sense and all, because it was a bit challenging. This is the finished look. I hope you have a lovely day, or night, or afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video.